Today we will be looking at square and cube numbers, and we'll be starting at basic area models. I am using basic Legos, and you can play with them at home as well if you want to see this concept and practice it some more. We'll be using Legos for the next section of cubes as well. So when we look at this, we have a 1 unit by 1 unit square and 1 unit by 1 unit. When you're calculating the area, 1 times 1 is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1. The converse or opposite square root of 1 is still 1. That can be tricky to remember because it's all 1 on there, which is sometimes it's very different than the rest of the numbers. Here we have a 2 by 2 square. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 squared is 4. The converse, the opposite, right, square root of 4 is 2. Now, converse or opposite operations is the same as multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. The converse of a square is a square root. And remembering that will help you remember how to do squares and square roots, which we'll be working on in this unit. Next is 3 times 3, so I have 3 units by 3 units. 3 times 3 gets me 9. 3 squared is 9, which is 3 times 3. And then the square root of 9 is 3. In this one, we have a 4 by 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 16 units, which we have here, 16 different squares. 4 squared is 16, and the square root of 16 is equal to 4. Those are the basics of squares and square roots. I want you to think of something here. If we look at this one, here I have a variety of squares building on each other. I have a 1 by 1 square, which is the white one. A 2 by 2 square, which is 3 blue squares and 1 white square. A 3 by 3 square, which is the 1 white, 3 blue, and then 5 gray. And then it grows continually. And if you pause the video right now and take a look at this, I would like you to try and see a pattern that forms when you're looking at these blocks. So if you have a really strong number sense, you will see it easier, and if you don't, it might take you more time. It's an interesting pattern in mathematics. It is not required for you to memorize at any time. It's just interesting. Now if we take a look at these numbers in a different way, and this is what you'll see, one of your assignments this week will be to memorize these numbers. So do your best to memorize. Again, like all math that we're doing, if you can't memorize them, that's okay. It'll just take more effort for you. So it's not the worst thing in the world if you can't memorize these. However, all your work will be faster and more efficient if you can. So if you put in a good amount of effort trying to memorize these squares, it will pay off in the long run. Our first one here is the same, 1 times 1, which is 1 squared, which equals 1. 2 times 2 is 2 squared, which equals 4. 3 times 3 is 3 squared, which equals 9, and so on, going all the way down the list. And I expect you to be able to memorize all the way up to 15 squared, which isn't fitting all on one page right now, unfortunately. That's okay. Now again, if you pause this and try and see what's the pattern, what do you notice? Is there anything that you notice in these columns? Like, of course, it's going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but what else? What's something that you notice here in the increasing, in the way it's increasing? And I'd like you to pause and try and figure that out. Okay, hopefully you've paused it and you've looked and tried to figure it out on your own. And if you haven't, I'm going to show it to you. This is actually the baby steps into something that you'll be seeing probably in grade 10, 11, or in calculus, depending on how complex math gets when we get higher ed. So if we look at 1 to 4, well, 1 plus 3 equals 4, so that goes up by 3. Well, how much does it go up between 4 and 9? Well, it goes up 5. It goes up 7 between 9 and 16. Between 16 and 25, well, that goes up 9. Between 36 and 49, that goes up 13. Are you noticing a pattern yet? 49 to 64, it goes up 15. 64 to 81, it goes up 17. 100 to 121, it goes up 21, sorry. 121 to 144 goes up 23. 144 to 169 goes up 25. 169 to 196 goes up 27, and 196 to 225 goes up 29. You'll only have to really memorize until 15. If you memorize up to 20 squared, life is even easier for you. But memorizing up to 15 will make life simple enough. So you should have noticed that each one goes up 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. So they each go up, increase by 2 with odd numbers each time. So that's interesting. And if you look at this pattern and try and find how much each row increases by, you'll notice it increases by that 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and so on, which is very fascinating. So that's all I wanted to show you on this video. Again, we're looking at squares, and hopefully you'll be able to memorize them, and you do have a couple worksheets to try and practice to do that. Good luck, guys.